Welcome to Mr. Urton's video on multiplying polynomials. In the first case, I am seeing that I multiply because I have the parentheses that are right next to each other. When things are touching, like the 3 and the x in math, we know that means multiply. So the two parentheses right next to each other, without a plus or minus or divide sign in between them, means multiply. So I'm multiplying. When we multiply, we have to distribute. First of all, the instructions say get an expression in standard polynomial form. Standard means no parentheses and all like terms are combined. So I have to get rid of the parentheses. I can't just cross them out like I did in addition though, because if I multiply before I add, that changes my answer. I have to follow PEMDAS, or I have to find a way around PEMDAS. Distributing is how we find a way around PEMDAS. So I'm going to multiply this term, multiply this polynomial by each of these terms. You probably think of that in terms of FOIL. So if I do FOIL, I take this term and I multiply it by the 3x term. I also multiply that term by the 2. So I multiply those two. Then I take the second term and I multiply it by both terms. 6 times 3x, 6 times 2. Most of you are pretty good at that. I'm not going to worry about showing you how to do that. I'm going to translate that over to this problem. I'm going to do the same thing here. That's what I want to show you today. So I'll take the x times the 3x squared. I will take the x times the 4x. And I will take the x times the 9, or actually a negative 9. Once I'm done with that, I'll do the same thing with the 5 term. 5 times 3x squared. 5 times 4x. And 5 times negative 9. So to start off with, x times 3x squared. I'm going to rewrite that just as an explanation. This is not something you need to do. If you just want to know what you're doing, you can skip this explanation. If you want to think about it though, really quickly, if I have 3 times x squared, that's 3 times x times x. If I multiply by another x, I end up with 3 times 3 x's. X times x times x equals x to the third power. So I will say 3x to the third power. So that's how I'm going to get my first term. X times 3x squared gives me 3x to the third power. X times my 4x, so I'll have x times, I'll have 4 times x times another x, that's 4x squared. At this point, some of you might have realized that now that we're multiplying polynomials, the exponents are actually going to change. Since I am now multiplying 3 x's, my x squared and my x to the first power became x to the third power. When I multiply, I add the exponents. I multiply the coefficients, but I add the exponents. When I added polynomials, I only added the coefficients, the numbers that are multiplied by the x. I did not change the exponents. Now that I'm multiplying, I do change the exponents, not just the coefficients. Next thing I do, x times negative 9. So I will have minus 9x. The next thing I want to do is take my 5 times each one of these terms. 5 times 3x squared, they're both positive, so it'll be a plus 15x squared. 5 times 4x, I just multiply the 5 times the 4, and I can't do anything with the x. 5 times 4 is 20. Once again, they're both positive, so I say plus 20x. Now I do 5 times negative 9. Negative times a positive is a negative. 5 times 9 is 45. You can write it like this. There's nothing wrong with that. At this point, I'm going to combine like terms, though. So I am going to take this, and I am going to put it down here. This way I have my like terms lined up. My x squareds are lined up, my x's are lined up. You could have left it that way, and then at that point just combine like terms when we added the polynomials. You could have rewritten it 3x cubed plus 4x squared plus 15x squared minus 9x plus 20x minus 45. This is just a quick way to line up the like terms. Now I add them. I only have one 3x cubed. I only have one x cubed term. Nothing else has x to the third power. I don't see any more exponents that are 3. So I will multiply 3 times x cubed. And then I will add my 4x squared and my 15x squared. So my 15x squared here. Fifteen plus 4 is 19. Now I have negative 9x's and 20x's. So I can think of that as having 20x's and losing 9 of them. 20 minus 9 is 11 x's. And I only have one constant term. So I just say minus 45. There's nothing to combine. So for multiplication, make sure you distribute one polynomial over the other. Each of these two terms has to be multiplied by each of these three terms. Once you do that, you add the like terms, and you're finished. Try that with the problem from the second practice test now. See how you do.